Joffrey, Renly, Robb Stark are all thieves. They'll bend the knee or I'll destroy them.
Cass had always been someone who was rarely ever caught by surprise. All of the things that could have befallen her, and her house for that matter, this was certainly the last thing she had expected. War had come to the farthest fields, not from the squids nor the savage first men, and not even her cousin. No, this threat came from House Rack, a Nandal house and a house she thought better of. However, war was not new to the Firehands, far from it. Her grandsire had been one of the greatest knights in the history of Andalia. Then her father had served the realm during the War of the Stars. Curse them all if they thought her weaker than either of them. She had the sword, the knowledge, the power, and the skill of both men before her. The only thing she was missing was the cock that made them think they were all so special. Her father had married her sister off to the Rack heir. At least she was safe in Sevensport. She would burn all of Andalia if that bastard Morribold or his whelp tried to harm a single hair upon her head. From the mantle of her solar, she retrieved Dragon's Scourge, the sword her grandsire had gained from one of those sister fuckers back in Andalos. Heathens that they were, she had to hand it to the Valyrians. Their swords were swords unlike any other. The Racks had their own sword too, though it had not been gained by valour or courage. Daybreak had been acquired through fucking one of them. Thank the Seven they weren't anywhere near her lands now. Once she might have respected this Morribold Rack who had fought alongside her father. Now she would send him to his grave. As soon as she had gotten word of the Rack Lord's declaration of war, she had called her own banners. She also had a powerful ally she could rely on. Cass thanked the crone every day that she had finally been able to get through her son's thick skull that he had to marry a lady of a noble house. He had wisely decided to marry the sister of Lord Royce of Runestone. Her own marriage had been arranged to secure her position. It seemed that this one would do the same for the boy. The Racks had their own allies, those tree-worshipping savages of House Greystark. It would be far fitting for them to join in the war against her, though she prayed against it. She heard the house's new Lord Maynard had no stomach for combat. Hopefully he would be craven enough to ignore his father-in-law's calls to arms. Leaving her solar, her family sword securely fastened to her side, Cass went to fetch her armour. She would fight and show them all why her house had the reputation that it did. Soon Lady Firehand left the great Barrow Hall and stood before the thousands of men-at-arms who had assembled. The banners of House Richards, Redguard, Alderman, and even Silver Eye blew in the cool air. A new lord had taken that fat craven's place in Silverspear, and this young Silver Eye actually seemed to know his place. Above them all rose the flaming hand of her own house, waving in defiance of what was to come. 2 men would be leading this army beside her. The first, her son and heir Harrion. What he lacked in wit he made up for in pure martial skill. At court, the aged Sir Lister had remarked that he reminded him of her grandsire. Her second commander was Byam, her cousin, and perhaps her greatest foe. She had expected no response when she called for him, but he had answered her summons and would hopefully be loyal for this war at least. She would keep a close eye on him regardless. Cass couldn't be sure that he wouldn't try anything. "Men of the Father's Field!" she bellowed from her elevated position. Gradually the clamour of the men below her ceased. Her forces stood to attention. "You and your fathers have all fought and died for Andalia, be it on the islands of those squids or against that Erenstar bastard and his savage gods. Now we face an enemy from within. Lord Rack has declared war upon us, spouting some false claim." A murmur of surprise broke out amongst the men, but it was silenced as she continued. "He thinks us weak and easy prey, but we are not. Tell me, why would this man who fought alongside my father suddenly turn against us? It is because he is weak. Morribold Rack is nothing but a craven and an oathbreaker. He married one of his daughters to House Greystark, allowing her to marry a tree-loving heathen. We will show them why House Firehand and the Sons of Father's Field are known as warriors. We were forged in the flames, and they will become cinders from our might. They have asked us for war, so let us show these cravens how real steel tastes. "Will you march with me towards the Hornwood?" she shouted. Shouts of approval roared from the men as they raised their spears and axes. Cass pulled out Dragon Scourged and raised it into the sky. House Rack had come for House Firehand, and Cass would gladly meet them with the sword, fire, and blood.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Northern Kingdom of Andalia, where, if you remember at the end of the last episode, we had that huge news about House Rack going to war with House Firehand. So we just had that introduction POV from the viewpoint of Lady Cass of the Father's Fields, who I think really reminds me of Calanthe from The Witcher. I think she's so similar to her, and several of the other guys in the creation team agree as well, and I'm sure a lot of you viewers will probably see that resemblance as well. So before we get started and see how that war goes, another thing that's going on is House Corbray has gone to war with House Waynwood to take over that lordship. So Danes is misbehaving again. He's refused to end that war, as well as Murbold Rack, as we can see here, also has refused to end his war. We are going to stay in character as Lyanna. I think she's too much of a pushover to do anything about this, so she's going to let these kingdoms fight amongst themselves. Well, these lordships. We have House Royce, who are allies with House Firehand, which is interesting, so they've called their banners to help them. We have Harrion Firehand, heir to the lordship of the Father's Field, who is married to Karain Royce. And then the Racks have an alliance with House Greystar. Murbold's youngest daughter, Eleanor Rack, is married to Lord Maynard, the Skin Changer. So it looks like it's going to be Firehand and Royce versus Rack and Greystar. So that's going to be an interesting war. Whilst House Corbray is going to completely sweep House Waynwood under the carpet, unless they have an alliance I don't know about somewhere. Right, so got a couple of custom characters that we're going to get through before we get started. So I think there was only one who's actually in our court, and then there's another one where it's a custom character from an already canon house. So first we'll go over the one that is in our court. We obviously had a couple of Ironborn characters in the last episode, custom characters, but the one we have now is it's a Faith of the Seven. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? They're here somewhere. Here we go. John Hornbreaker, a black stallion on red. I can't change the first names of courtiers anymore, so those of you who had first names, I apologise that they've had to have names of already made courtiers, as the file's too big, as many of you know, to get into it to be able to edit their first names. So I have to invite courtiers and edit them. So we have Sir John Hornbreaker here, who is a brilliant commander, an aggressive leader. He's heavy infantry leader, he's unyielding, strong, tall, a trained fighter, a knight, he's honourable, brave, wrath, gregarious, and lustful. And then the other characters, we have Lord Farwind, who is a skilled commander, leads from the rear. He's a siege leader, a skilled fighter, he's a sea king, a torturer, a family person, ambitious, cruel, arbitrary, ruthless, stubborn, lustful, and zealous. And then his daughter, Winifred Farwind, who is quick, a poor fighter, playful, green dreams, brooding, an eagle, willful, and temperate. And then, while I was looking through the Iron Island houses, I wanted to see what happened to which houses were still around. House Drum and House Hoare have unfortunately both died out. So then I was thinking, well, if House Drum's died out, where is Red Rain? So I was looking for Red Rain, and then I found it, and it's in the possession of the Harlaws now, but not the actual Lady of Harlaw, who we have here, Lady Zosha the Reaver of Harlaw, who's a Reaver, but no, it's nothing with her, it's with one of her, not even any of her daughters. It's a complete random Harlaw member who was actually insanely impressive, so I moved her to our court because I thought she would make such a cool character to get involved in the story, and I thought we can't miss up on the chance of having her around. And she actually had Red Rain in her possession, and she also has Nightfall, the Harlaw Valyrian Steel Sword, so she actually dual wields Valyrian Steel Swords, and she's ridiculously impressive. Nana Harlaw, who is a gruff diplomat, a formidable fighter, a sea queen, a berserker, shrewd, a socializer, arbitrary, chaste, erudite, deceitful, brave, and wrath. And I thought I can't miss up the chance of not using a character this impressive, so we moved her straight in to the court of Sevensport. And if we go on her treasury, we can see she has Nightfall and Red Rain, which is absolutely insane. And while looking through the Iron Islands, I found an interesting character who was of House Botley as well, who was pretty decent in martial, so we invited him to our court as well, but he is yet to arrived. So I think that's everything that we needed to go over. So we're going to unpause. Let's see how this war goes between the Racks and Firehands. This is going to be very interesting. It's going to be interesting to be actually watching other houses fight it out without being involved, but there's still so much at stake. So I'm actually quite excited and worried about what's going to happen, because I don't want either of these houses to lose. Some of your kin are unhappy that you granted the lordship of Harroway's Town to Lord Danes River. Yes, I did do that because he's the bastard son of Lord Highhope, so just so that it stays in that family. That's going to upset Hilario a little bit more, but when isn't he upset us, let's be honest, as we keep gifting land? We're not going to make our father's mistake by gifting lands to more of our bastard siblings and family, because, well, yeah, look what happened last time. It didn't go great, did it? Blessed upon you and your house, I accept your gracious invitation and will join your court forthwith. Now, here we go. Quentin Botley. This was the guy I was on about. Some of his traits aren't overly impressive, but he's got that 27 martial, which I thought was pretty cool, and it'd be nice to have some more. We've got plenty of First Men and Andal characters around. I thought it'd be good to have some of the Ironborn around as well, now that we own the Iron Isles. So he's a skill commander, a siege leader, which is very important to us, as I don't think we actually have any siege leaders, really. So at least we now finally have one. He's shrewd, a skilled fighter, a hunter, temperate, kind, charitable, and ambitious. So apart from that ambitious trait, which is always a bit of a problem sometimes, he's actually got some very good traits for an Ironborn. So hopefully he'll be a worthy subject for us. Okay, may you live in harmony and contentment. I've decided to accept the suggestion that Bernard and Joanna get married. All the children of the Union will be of their dynasty. Ah, yes, Jonah Harlaw was another Harlaw that I found. I decided to marry her to keep the Harlaw name, as there's not many Harlaws around, and I don't want another epic house dying out. We've already lost House Drum and House Horror, are two cool Ironborn houses. I don't want to lose House Harlaw as well, so I wanted to make sure that they're around. Lera of Highgarden arrived at your court. Yes, I married her to the Hornbreaker guy. To the magnificent devil, Lyanna. May you live in harmony and contentment. I accept your suggestion that Sir John and Lera get married. Yes, that was for John Hornbreaker. Yes, perfect, that's fine. We've got a lot of money, as that's still piling up. I don't know what we're going to do with all that money. Lord Jamie of Oldstones has usurped the title Lordship of Marlet Bay from Walter Unar. Interesting. Odd Harlaw has arrived at your court. Oh, this was another Harlaw that was around that we've invited to our court, just to make sure we can keep these around. Let's arrange a marriage for him then. Maybe an Andal, so we can start mixing some of these Ironborns in with some of the Andal people. We've got you, who is a genius. That could be interesting, so let's... Yes, let's go with you and marry you to her. This is when I was on my quest to try and find Red Rain and the Harlaw Sword Nightfall, and I managed to find a couple of Harlaws that were hanging around of distant family members, so I decided to get them in to make sure the family didn't die out. Lord Yorick of Redfork accepted Lord Alec the Reluctant's call to his war. Oh, okay. To the Honourable Queen Lyanna, your wisdom and mercy are legendary. Yep, they've accepted that marriage. So, the Redforts are taking the side of Lord Waynwood, so... that gives them a little bit more manpower, several thousand, but I don't think it's going to be enough to beat back Danes Corporate, who we know is very ambitious. Lord Jared of Harpshire war for Tumbleton has ended. Lord Jared of Harpshire has won. Okay, that's down south with the Westerland, so they'll go back to peace probably soon. Storm King Ronard, the second of the Stormlands, has usurped the title Kingdom of the Stormlands from Queen Sarissa of the Rivers and Hills. Good. I'm very glad about that, because it was really annoying that we had a Yeetie Queen of the Stormlands. No idea where she came from, and it was absolutely ridiculous, but at least now we have an actual Durandon in charge. He is a Reachman, which is interesting, but at least he's actually a proper Andal-looking Durandon, so that's good. And he's actually older as well, so maybe he can actually make the kingdom prosper again, as they aren't in a great place at present. So, right. Oh, okay. Is he not took the... Oh, he's not actually took the Stormlands. He's only took the Rivers and Hills. That's interesting, but he's ruling it from Storm's End, which is weird. So who actually rules... Oh, no, so he rules the Stormlands. Ah, and she's kept the Rivers and Hills. Okay, that's confusing, and that has made some disgusting border gore, so if that doesn't get sorted out soon, we'll have to do it. I forgot as well to sort out Deddington. I will sort that out after this episode, as that's annoying. It's because I try not to look too much further south than the Red Fort, because it just gets... ugly and disgusting. Right, on pause, tick along, let's get these wars get going, see what crazy stuff is going to happen. Our heir, Prince Lister, not Sir Lister, sorry. Oh, that still hurts. That's just reminded me. He has picked up the Idolizer trait now, as well as the Kind trait, so that's pretty nice. He's got good learning and good diplomacy, so we'll see where he's going to go. He's still only 5 years old, so we won't pick his education until he gets a little bit older. and it looks like the Firehand troops are marching eastwards to meet the Rak host, and the Rak host is actually being led by Moribald itself, who is leading the Firehand host. Army of Sir Harrion, so the heir. Leopold Anvil is now known as the Spider. Interesting. Some weird thing gone on with the air here. It comes and goes. The file's getting that big, it's starting to get buggy. It does worry me a little bit. Hopefully we can still get a reign or two out of it. If not, I'll just have to do a lot of work modding CK2, and I'm sure Chris will help me with it from the creation team so that we can keep it going. Finally, an opportunity to abduct Harry and Salzard has arisen. One of the Storm King's personal guard has proven amenable to bribery, allowing for the opportunity to take him while he sleeps. Shall I tell my co-conspirators to begin their preparations? We must proceed with the plan. We have a 35% chance. We'll go with it because we need to get rid of him because he's plotted to kill us. We'll take the risk and try and get rid of him. Okay, so we've got 8,000 Firehand men marching onto that Rak army, which for some reason marched very close. Why did Moribald do that when he has a hell of a lot more men here? He's still got 1,200, 5. He's got more than enough men to outnumber Harry in here, but for some reason has decided to march off with 5,000 men. So if he doesn't get away in time now, Harry's probably going to win that battle. I don't know, where's the Royce army? The Royce army is sailing north. 30 galleys there, so that'll have about 3,000 men on its left, some behind. It's probably going to go back. So the Royce army is marching. Are the Greystarks not joining in? Seems not. I wonder if Moribald's not called them up then. They have got an alliance. Lord Benfrey the Just has inherited lordship of the Gates of the Moons from Sir Hallis of the Gates of the Moon. Okay, it's nothing too important. Disaster. Sir Harrion surprised the kidnappers with the ferocity of his struggle, and while they fled when guards came running, they were quickly caught. Even worse, the men gave up my name as their employer. You've denied it, naturally, but Sir Harrion clearly does not believe you. So we get dishonourable. Really? That's not really fair. He's plotting to kill us. Why did we get the dishonourable trait for that? I'm going to remove that because that... Some of the stuff on the AI just makes no sense, and we've suffered a penalty of losing nearly 20,000 troops because of that, which is absolutely stupid. So I am gonna remove that, guys. I'm sure you guys won't mind because that's just stupid. It's like when we had the tyrant trait for no reason as well. Okay, so at the age of 17, our subject Morgan Anvil died under suspicious circumstances, so that's interesting. He's not the lord of that area though, so that's fine. And here we go. We've got the first battle going on here between the Firehands and the Raks. 6,000 against 4,000. Oh, another 1,500 Firehand troops are about to arrive, but so are some Rak men. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens. 7,500 versus 3,500, but there are 2,500 Rak men that didn't arrive in time. Why has he got 7,000 Rak men sitting here? I know I'm not taking sides, and I don't really want either side to win or lose, but it just makes no sense why the AI is so stupid that Moribald Rak has all these men here, but decides not to march them on with that huge force there to fight. It seems like a very, very foolish idea to do. I'm pretty sure we still can't get him to end this war. We did try. Yeah, there's nothing we can really do. I don't really want to... They're both loyalist houses, so... How is Danes Corbury doing in his war in the Vale? Okay, so the Wainwoods have got quite the force, it would seem. Unless there's a... How much men do the Wainwoods have? 6,000. How many men does Lord Danes have? 9,000. So unless there's some men here that are... some of this is Danes men, 3,000, which are retreating. So he's getting himself into a bit of a pickle because they're deciding not to get all their troops together. So he's made a bit of a cock up there. There are some more Royce men marching north. 7,000 Firehands. Surely they're not going to march straight into those 11,000. Surely they wait for the Royce armour. The AI is so stupid. Oh my god, watching a war from the outside looking in. It's embarrassing how bad the AI is. Tytos Erenstar brought a favour from Estian, whoever he is. I'm not sure who he is. Let's just forward things slightly quicker. Are there any interesting decisions or anything that we can make? Queen Lyanna, have to listen to the group. I don't really care what's going on with the Gold Emperor. Is there anything here that we could do, really? I don't think there's much that we can do at present. We can't hold a feast or anything like that. We could search for a smith. We've got a lot of money. Why not? Let's make something. We've made a weapon before. Goldsmith for some jewel. We've created jewels. Let's make some armour. Why not? Maybe we can get some better armour than before, now that we've done it a couple of times. Who knows? We'll see, while we keep an eye on this war. The Royce army has beaten this small Rak host here, but there's a huge Rak host here, which are marching opposite ways for some strange reason. Who knows? Who knows? And one child lacking an education focus, Princess Kyra. So let's have a look at you, Kyra. You seem very good in intrigue, very good in martial and diplomacy as well. You've got the idolizer trait, the timid trait, and the affectionate trait. You're 12. Your guardian is Benfrey Highstar. Well, it looks like learning or martial. You've not got the most amazing. Could we go for a martial education then? Why not? Yeah, you've got decent martial. Why not? Princess Kyra, let's name you. You're named after your Aunt Kyra, who was a great warrior. So why not make you into a great warrior as well? Why not? Let's go for it. Is that Royce and Firehand army going to join each other, or are they just going to march in opposite directions as well? What quality of education would you like to purchase for your daughter, Princess Kyra? Of course, we're going to spend 200 gold. Wow. +4 learning, though, so we'll go for that, which is going to give her 8 learning, 8 martial, 8 intrigue. Not bad. Hopefully she'll turn into something pretty decent. We're yet to form any marriages or such for any of the children, so I'm still not sure what we're going to do there. 8,000 men now marching onto the Hornwood from House Firehand. Where is the Royce army? Are they marching up the neck as we speak? Yes, they are. 6,000. I don't think they're going to get here in time, though. There's still about 7,000 there of the Ironwood men. Not the Ironwood men, the Iron Oaks men, sorry, House Waynwood. And the Corbury men look like they're retreating to reform, so interested to see what does happen down there. That Royce army has been left behind because they decided to march a different way. And it looks like they're going to march separate ways. One's gone to... The Firehands have gone to siege the Hornwood, and the Racks are on their way to siege Barraton. So, yeah, strange, but who knows what's going to happen there. Through a covert conspiracy, my bannerman, Lady Zosha Harlaw, has acquired a claim on the Kingdom of the Iron Isles. This is a thin claim indeed, so she gets a stronger... Okay, so that's interesting. So the Ironborn may be willing to rebel at some point. We knew it was going to come at some point. Luckily, we have got a couple of loyalists in the Iron Isles. And if Lady Harlaw does become a problem, we could land Nana Harlaw there in her place, couldn't we? Which would be interesting. My Master at Arms, Pierre Sweetblood, has told me about a remarkable armorsmith residing in Seagull. She suggests that I invite the man to my court and see his work for myself. A fine idea, Master at Arms Pierre. You do that, Lady Pierre, and that improves her opinion of us. Not that we need to improve her opinion of us any further. She loves us. Looks like the Firehand host that was at the Hornwood is now marching westwards, which is interesting. Your Grace, I write to express my consternation at the fact that Sir Joe Rack enjoys command of your armies. We know how to smooth this over. We're not removing Joe Rack from our command. Once the armorsmith's craftsmanship has been checked by my most acknowledgeable attendants to ensure the quality was sufficient, I received him in the throne room. He introduced himself as Master Kayan and gestured towards his numerous assistants who all carried examples of his work. Does my queen have anything special in mind? I am in need of protection. Make me a strong and sturdy set of armour. Kayan the armoursmith. Interesting. But yes. We want proper protection. I see. An excellent choice, my queen, says Master Kayan, and calls forward the assistant, cradling 3 in his arms. I have 3 examples of different quality levels here. One must determine what one needs and how much one is willing to pay, however. They would all serve your highness well. I would not go into battle with anything but the very best. Wow, 400 gold. Yeah, we've got plenty of money. Why not? Let's spend it on something. We can't spend it on much else at present. We do need to do some improvements maybe around the realm. But we'll wait until the wars are over before we do that. A son was born to Sir Byam Firehand and Belena the Unfaithful, named Morgan. For some reason it hasn't popped up though. Stillborn. That's a shame. Oh, a red guard. Interesting. The peasants of Sevensport are quite far apart and spread out. Your Master of Whisperers, Cass Firehand, suggests investing in a provisional message system so that they can communicate with their kin more easily. She claims that doing so would attract more peasants to the country. Yes, an excellent idea. Gain 25 prestige, the supply limit goes up, and it's only 69 gold. We've got plenty of gold, why not? The Royce army is slowly marching up. I wonder if the Firehands and Royces will join together. That would make for an epic battle outside the gates of Barraton. How do things go in the Vale? Okay, so the Corbury has split his host in half again for some reason. Who knows what he's doing? Who knows? Who knows? He is leading the army himself, which is interesting because he is a very good commander, as we know. Let's go for a mid-POV then while we have this going on. Why not? Sheer astonishment engulfed Joe when news of his father had reached Sevensport. After breaking the peace with the Firehands and his refusal to heed the Queen's royal order to stand down, his father had now taken up arms against them. What did his father hope to gain from this sheer stupidity? The Seven Stars would never allow him to keep the father's fields, even if he was successful in his plight. House Rack had always been loyal vassals to the Sevenstars, ever since the day Aengar first rose the legendary Rogar Rack to lordship after sheltering the refugeed Andal. This was no way for his father to repay the kindness and trust put into them by the father of Andalia. The Rack army had met the armies of the father's fields in the lands of Whitford, where the heir to Barrington, Harry and Firehand had secured a narrow but bloody victory against his father. Joa knew it would take more than a single defeat to deter his father, however. This would be a long and costly war. Joa was still committed to his duties as bodyguard to the Queen, so when a meeting of the council was called, he stood guard outside the door. He watched as the council entered the chamber and noticed many suspicious glances his way, especially from Cass Firehand. They probably thought he was some kind of spy for his father, who was relaying information about the council and the capital. This couldn't have been further from the truth. Joa hadn't spoken to his father for some time and wanted no part in his breaking of the Queen's peace. As he stood vigilant outside the council door, he knew that the council was speaking of his father and how to react to his acts of war. Lady Cass, who had just rode to the capital after the recent battle, would surely condemn his father and house and advocate for harsh consequences. If she had her way, his house would be stripped of its lands. Joa was unsure about the other members of the council. Lord Highstar seemed to want to reassert the crown's authority over its vassals, but Lord Corbury had been conducting wars of his own and would be against any such act. Queen Lyanna was notably absent from the meeting, so it would fall to Benfrey's hand to lead it, which Joa thought may lead to action against House Rack. He thought of his lady wife and how their children would be caught in the middle of this conflict. If his father was successful, his wife's house would be defeated and subjugated. However, if Moribald was defeated, the lordship Joa and his children were in line to inherit may be stripped, and his house would be stained forever. In the coming weeks, the future of his house would be decided. It would depend on the coming battles and the decisions the council made. Maester Barquin has published the results from his medical investigations. The book has not received any notable attention. It is just gathering dust in my library. What a waste of gold. Never mind, eh? Having decided to check up on Maester Cain's progress, I strolled over to his forge. I did not find him working on the project I commissioned, but instead working on a different task, specifically my bastard sister, Lady Pia. Oh dear, Pia. What Cain does in the privacy of his own forge is not my concern. Can you please focus on your work? This is not what I pay you for. Get out and stay out. How dare Cain dishonour me like this? He must be punished. Can you please focus on your work? I don't think Lyanna would be too bothered. At the age of 2, your subject died a sickly infant. Anson Creed, that's a shame. That's an heir to House Creed, so that's not good, is it, really, to be honest? Where is this? I'm really intrigued to see what the Royce and Firehand army is doing. Oh, Lord Alec the Reluctant accepted Lord Danes the Wise's peace offer. Okay, so Lord Danes the Wise has usurped the title High Lordship of Iron Oaks from Lord Alec the Reluctant. Interesting. So, has he let Lord... Yes, he's let Lord Waynwood keep his lands for now, but he's took it into his own lands. And my god, look at the power that he now possesses, and he still has that claim on the Hunter lands here. That's going to give him like nearly half of the Vale. Yeah, that's worrying. Those stats as well are just absolutely ridiculous. But first, let's see what's going to go on up here. Lord Maynard... Whoa, everything's kicking off. At the age of 28, your bannerman Lady Querin of Coldwater Burn died, clutching at her heart. Okay. At the age of 33, your bannerman Lord Maynard of Silverreed, Maynard Reed, died frothing at the mouth. Okay, not good. And Geoffrey of Silverspear has called in a favour on Lord Mallister. That's fine. We have Prince Lister lacking an education for... I don't know what to go for you. Do we go for learning? Or do we go for diplomacy? We've had diplomats before, haven't we? Should we go for faith? We've not had faith. It's idolizer. Let's go for faith. Why not? Something different. Something very different. Some of you might not be happy with that, but it's different. We've not really had a faith-focused lord for some time. At the age of 41, okay, a random acquaintance died. Okay, so there are stragglers from the Royce army coming. What's going to go on? The Firehand army is now marching away. So no idea what's going to go on between those two. Let's forward things along until they get their men together. I was struck with nervous excitement when Master Cain announced that that the armour was nearing its completion. Today I have received the Master in my throne room as he unveils the armour rack. I find it almost impossible to breathe. What will you name her, my queen? The armour shall be called my guardian. The armourer shall be called champion. Everyone fears the warden. Let's go with my guardian. Guardian has been added to our treasury. Let's have a look how decent this armour is then. We've got a fine set of armour already. Guardian, it's a strong and sturdy set of armour, offers unmatched protection in combat. It truly is the guardian of those it encases. Nice, okay, so we've already got that. Let's equip that. That's better than our previous armour. Perfect. Not that we're ever going to really use armour as Lyanna, but you never know. Your Septon Governor of Snow, reports that Master Wilbert of Andalton has been humbled by your endless generosities to the poor in Sevensport. Perfect. Good news. Nice to hear. That was something I actually wanted to look at, the laws for our lands. Yeah, still illegal the first night, which is good. Obligation Council. No, where was it? The Crown Laws of the Kingdom of the Iron Isles applies in the Kingdom of Andalia. Yeah, so we actually can't change it to make it any difference at present, which is annoying. That is a pain. We can't make it any better. Right, so the Firehand, the Royce army is marching onto the Firehand army by the looks of it. Lady Addisane of Seaguard has formed an alliance with Lord Belgrade Pegleg. Interesting. So are we going to have a big battle happen in the Black Sheep Hills by the looks of it? The Firehands and the Royces look like they're going to join together. A small Royce host has just been destroyed by a Rack army. Yeah, I've got 14,000 men heading for the Hornwood. At the age of 27, your acquaintance Lyanna Lancer died of cancer. I don't even know who you are, Lyanna Lancer. No idea who you are. You're in the court over the... no idea. No idea how you ended up over there. So we'll just skim over that and pretend. Think nothing of it. I am excited to see what's going to happen in this battle between these two. We've got 15,000 Firehand Royce, 11,000 Racks. A son was born to Sir Joa Rack and Jane Firehand named Medgar Rack. Interesting, he's already got his brother, Moribald Rack, who's very impressive, so we'll keep an eye on him. Let's make him important to keep an eye on him, because he's the most impressive. And then there's Ariane Rack as well, who has a headache, which is not good. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, though. And there's 500 stragglers, so just over 15,000 men sieging the Hornwood. And it looks like Moribald Rack is going to march onto those. Lesser men doesn't always make a difference. Okay, now he's marching away. Is he going to go for those 2,000 Royce men instead? This war is dragging on. No one's really sieged anything down yet. How is the war going? It seems that Master Williman of Lord Harroway's Town, the spy master of Lord Danes of Harroway's Town, has been sent to Harroway's Town to investigate rumours of a plot. Maybe he should be silenced before he finds out about my plot to kidnap Sir Harrion Salzard. This might be necessary. Yeah, let's have a look how this... Oh, Master Williman discovered my plot and has informed Lord Danes Rivers. Well, he's like 0 years old. I can't see him minding. How is this war actually going between these two? It's 13% in favour of the Firehands. Your Grace, I would like to politely remind you of the gold that Andalia owes my house. Lord Irontide, why do I owe you money? 187 gold? What? What? This must be what the Greyjoys have borrowed. You've got a very negative opinion of us anyway, but it's Lyanna. Lyanna's a pushover, isn't she? She'd probably pay it, so we'll pay it as much as it wounds me to do so. Right, if they siege the Hornwood, that could be bad. What's Moribald doing? He's marching south. He's going to attack that host, isn't he, there, and try and get a bit of war score back. Not a bad idea. He doesn't really want that joining with the other rest of the army. So, yeah, he's going to slaughter that Royce army. Even though he does get a slight disadvantage for crossing over the river crossing of the White Star. Let's continue to forward things along while we wait to see what happens. There's not much going on with ourselves at present. Lord Risa of the Sisters used a favour on Septon Garwin of Snow to force them to join all their factions. And what's that going to be? An independence faction, knowing the Sisters. Still got the Crown Loyalists. Got Lord Todrick for the Iron Isles, Dan for the Iron Isles, High King Ambrose for Mountain and Vale. Okay, that's our husband. That's interesting. Lady Marge for Andalia, and that's got a couple of backers now, which is interesting. And Master Byra Erenstar for Andalia as well. Nothing too threatening, really, there, to be honest. Is there nothing that we've got to really worry about. Okay, so they're sieging the Hornwood, the Racks are sieging Barrington, the war's raging on without much of the battle going on, so it's literally going to be whoever manages to siege whichever land first, and these are both very formidable castles and lands, so no idea who's going to win between these. Master of Laws, Lord Yorick, is doing a superb job. I'm having trouble with a town and a castle in Sevensport, and I shall of course send my Master of Laws, Lord Yorick, to try and increase the relation between them and us, but which one should I start with? Let's go with the castle. Why not? A trade port has been... Whoa. Okay. Margale Darry has arrived at your court. That's interesting. We've got a Darry at our court. Without Darry children, which is annoying. So let's marry her off quickly then. Of course, we want her to keep her name. There must be somebody that she can marry in our court. Do we have anyone? Not really. We do have this Shycross, Alma Shycross. Why not? Let's go with you. Send. Perfect. Keep the Darries around. I like to try and keep the cannon houses. And a trade post has been built in Lord Hagen of Saltcliffe. Oh, in Lordsport. Interesting. So they're already improving things like up here. What holding can we do? We can go for... Oh, at the age of 46, your subject, Janaea Rack, died a natural death. Your Grace, I would like to politely remind you of the money your house owes me. House Botley, 93 gold. We'll pay it because the Botleys are... They don't mind us too much. Right, upgrade, holding, upgrade. Okay, so they're all in the cross fort. Which one could we go for? 40 years, 40 years. Wow, they're all 1,200 gold, so we're not going to do that. We've got a lot of money, but we've not got that much money, so we'll give that a miss, I think. I just want to see what's going to happen in this war, so let's forward things along as they do this sieging down, and while we remain at peace ourselves. At the age of 48, your bannerman, Lord Torren Cherwell, died of Cherwell. Lord Marsh, did he have a daughter? Lady Brander of Cherwell. Yep, so the house isn't dead, but it's not in a great position, to be honest. Hopefully they don't die out. We don't want the old Canon Cranigman houses dying out. At the age of 55, your bodyguard, Glendon, died of grievous disfigurement. Oh no, not Glendon the Gentle Giant. Well, that's a shame. So now we need a new bodyguard. We've got quite a couple of decent people who could become bodyguards. So let's have a look what we've got. We have Nana Vixen, which would be... Nana Vixen. That's because I was reading Pia. Nana Harlaw. Do you know what? As we are a queen, yeah, let's have Nana Harlaw as one of our bodyguards with Lady Pia, Donico Shycross, Sir Joa Rack, and Lord Benfrey of the Lance. What a Queen's Guard that is. Insane Queen's Guard. Is there any other titles that need filling? I don't think there is. I wish they'd do something better with the handmaidens so that you could have more handmaidens. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be queuing up to be the handmaiden of Lyanna. Your Grace, I would like to remind you of the gold at Andalia. Oh my god, how many people do we owe money? Wow, no, my god, I do not have... We'll just pay the interest for now, because I don't want to pay out any more. Hopefully you'll die soon. Some random house on Bear Island. I really need to do something about them, actually, and replace them. And the Corbury's got their men raised again. What are you doing now, Dave? What? Nothing popped up. Attacking Lord Raymer of Eastwold in Daney's second claim on... You sneaky bastard. Nothing even popped up to warn me, so... He's broke the truce and the peace yet again, without me even realising, to try and claim yet again another High Lordship, and he's winning in it. When he takes that, he's going to hone so much of the... Okay, interesting. Let's concentrate. Wow, this is... No idea who's going to end up winning this. A son was born to Sir Donico Shycross and Alice Coldwater, named Melio Shycross. Okay, interesting. Keep an eye on that. He's not been stillborn, at least. Lord Bryndon II of Blackwood has inherited High Lordship of Blackwood and other titles from Lady Zoa the Mad. Oh, good. Thank God she's dead. She was a lunatic who absolutely hated us. I'm glad that she's dead. Let's have a look at Lord Bryndon. Tyrannical Stain and Club-footed. He's got some siblings, so the Blackwood seem to be pretty secure, which is good. It's a shame that they did convert to the 7, but then again it makes sense, and it looks like the Racks are actually winning a little bit more in their siege now. That war could come down to just whoever manages to win their siege first. I would like to at least get a siege done before the end of this episode. A son was born to Skate Saltworm and Liza of Seaguard, named Ragnar. Ragnar Saltworm. Nice. I don't know why it popped up like that, telling us, so... But sure, why not? At age 56, your subject Amanda died a natural death. No idea who you even are. The war still raging on. What have we got here? So they are losing a lot of men in this siege of the Hornwood, though, so that's one good thing in favour of the Racks. My husband, Sir Ambrose, has avoided me for some time now, and the rare occasions when we meet have turned from the nights of passion I remember to evenings of arguments and disagreement. It did not come as a shock when he told me he no longer loves me, but it hurt more than I thought it would. We are husband and wife. What need for love? Queen Lyanna breaks up with Sir Ambrose. Okay, so you're still married, but you're no longer lovers, which is interesting. Does he have a new lover? Is that the reason? No, he has a friend. His brother's his friend, and that's it, really. Not much else going on there. Nothing important up here going on by the looks of it. Lord Farwind inviting some people in. That's about it, really. Nothing too important. And the Hornwood is about to fall to the Rack army, which is interesting. How is this war now going? It is 1% in favour of Lord Moribald the Fearless. Okay, he's now winning by 1%, so it's very close. We'll let the Siege of Barraton end before we do end this episode, though I think we'll keep it going for now. A travelling poet who calls himself a bard arrived today. A good-for-nothing nobody. If he does anything wrong, I will break every bone in his body. Lord Moribald reacts to Queen Lyanna's feelings toward the bard, so he doesn't like bards either then, by the looks of it. As long as he stays away from me, the option is available because you have the arbitrary trait and we gain shy. He can stay as long as he likes. Yes, he can stay as long as he likes. I'm pretty sure Lyanna would be the sort of queen who likes bards and poets and all that sort of thing. I found out that Septon Gowan has introduced the bard to the court, and I told him how much I appreciated that. Finally, someone who can sing. Monthly piety increases, and our Septon's opinion of us increases as well, which is interesting. Your Grace, I humbly ask that you intervene on my behalf against the aggressions of Lord Danes Corpory, who is invading my land in obvious contravention of the peace of the realm. I would be entirely grateful for your support in this matter. I will order Lord Danes to stand down. Your Grace, of course, I will obey your will and end the war as commanded. Please take this as a sign of my continued loyalty. Oh, you're a very clever man, Danes. You clever, clever man. And his opinion of us changes by -10. Disappointed. He's a sneaky bastard, that man. I am surely with child. My husband will be pleased. Okay, now he might have reason to be suspicious. Considering that he's no longer her lover, could this be a bastard or not? Who knows? I'm going to forward along now, so we can maybe get the kid out as well as get this war kicking on. How many kids is that going to be that Lyanna's now had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This will be her 11th child. That is absolutely ridiculous. 11 children in what? I think she had her first at about 22, so 11 children in 13, 14 years, something like that. Tytos Erenstar brought a favour from Pate. Shocking news, Your Grace. Your niece has been discovered using moon tea to get rid of pregnancy. Yolanda Wainwood. Oh dear. 16, she's unmarried. That could be a decent marriage for someone. Can we arrange a marriage between her and do we have anyone? Not really. Adrian Yellowbrook. Who are you? Oh, no, I just want to actually have a look who you are in our court. How dare she? Yeah, whatever. How dare she? I don't really know why Lyanna's that bothered. I'm sure that army's just increased in size slightly. And there are 2,000 Royce men marching up. And Barraton has fallen to House Rack. How much is that going to put them in charge? 44% in favour of Lord Moribald the Fearless. Interesting. What quality of education would you like to purchase for your courtier Helena Yellowbrook? Who are the Yellowbrooks? Andals who worship Relore. She's weak. She's got decent diplomacy and decent intrigue. Let's go for intrigue if she's Relore, why not? And we'll spend highly just because we've got money, so why not? Whoa, a load of people. Lord Dustin has voted against someone, whatever. At the age of 0, your subject Torgan Reed died stillborn. Brandon Marsh is now known as the Just. Interesting. Earl Irontide is now known as the Monstrous. Nice. Awesome name. Nice to see one of my other custom houses doing well. A son was born to Sir John Hornbreaker and Lara of Highgarden, named Garibold Hornbreaker. Oh, nice. He's a twin as well, by the looks of it. And Sir John also had a son named Belgrave. So, Belgrave and Garibold. They're both like House Rook names, and one of them has inherited the strong trait, Belgrave, which is interesting. So they didn't mess around, did they? They soon got a son. The Hornwood's about to fall any second now, which the Firehands really need to do if they want to stand a chance of staying in this war. My Master of Coin, Sir Byman, has been hard at work in the Crossfort, increasing infrastructure and motivating the local people to work even harder. Good, thank you very much, Byam, who is standing in while Danes Corpory is a little bit busy. Maynard Greystark has had Mountain in Vale added to their treasury. Okay, interesting. Guessing it's a book. Lyanna of the Black Cliffs arrived at your court. She best not have any dragons. No, she's not. And then she died. It's just one of those random ones that join and then disappear and die instantly. That happens all the time. 2,000 Royce reinforcements, though, coming up to join the Firehands, which is interesting. Especially if they manage to then get that under siege. A daughter was born to Odd Harlaw and Arissa of Stonehelm, named Rhonda Harlaw. Nice. And at 69-year-old, your acquaintance Cleos of Hayford died of gonorrhea of House Congrove. Interesting. From the Grand Series, if you guys can remember. And the next bit, Barraton is about to fall. Osher Botley has arrived at your court. No idea who you are. But at the age of 49, your bannerman, Lord Hagan of Saltcliffe, died of severe stress. So has his wife been kicked out of Saltcliffe after it's been inherited by Lord Will of Saltcliffe, who looks very Dornish. Oh, his mother is a Summer Islander. Interesting. That'll be from all that raiding and pillaging down south, I imagine. Whoa, stuff constantly happening. Daenerys Corbury attempted to imprison Damien Shycross. Interesting. My brother-in-law, Lord Daenerys Corbury, has tried to have Lord Damien Shycross of the Dragon's Den arrested, but failed to apprehend him. Lord Damien has now raised his banners in rebellion. The realm will surely bleed. They've got 1,400 men on the Dragon's Den, and Lord Corbury has, wow, a hell of a lot of men. I'm not even going to count those up. How many men do you have? You have 7,000, so it's going to be interesting to see what goes on there. I can't see Damien Shycross getting out of that. My god, look at the Westerlands now. What is going on with this Stormland? Disgusting border gore. No idea. Whatever. We'll just ignore it, pretend it's not happening. It gets harder and harder to fix the bigger the save file gets without screwing things up. Ambrose Roseheart has had Wolfsbane removed from their treasury. Oh no, died of cancer. Who is... So now we have Lady Elise of the White Star. Okay, who's malnourished. Okay, so the Rosehearts are not in great shape at all, which is not good. So he wasn't Lord for long, was he? He didn't get to be Lord for very long at all, to be honest. Let's forward things along a little bit quicker. I want to get that child born, and I want to see what happens when the Firehands take the Hornwood. Dear half-sister, your wisdom and mercy are legendary. I have been appointed as your regent, Benfrey Highstar, so that means we're about to have our child. Master Sebastian of Appleton, let everyone know about my plot to kidnap Sir Harry and Salazar during a drunken stupor at the local tavern. I never should have included that drunken blabbermouth in the plot. Well, everyone knows about it anyway. We just want to get the bastard killed. Send him to the wall, probably, actually, just for the fun of it. I like sending people to the wall as Lyanna. She's done a great deal of good for the Night's Watch. Waiting for that child to be born. Should be any second now, which should be around the same times that the Hornwood falls. Your Grace, I humbly request that my bastard son, Jojen Snow, be legitimised and made a fully recognised member of House Redguard. Let's have a look at you then, Jojen Snow. Yeah, your request is granted. Why not? Legitimised bastard. We want to keep House Redguard around. A son was born to Sir Byam Firehand and Milena the Unfaithful, named Jojen Redguard. Oh. Haha. That's interesting then. So Lord Redguard believes that his bastard son... hang on a minute. So why would he legitimise his bastard son with his wife if he knows that it's not his and the son is actually Sir Byam Firehands? Okay, that's interesting. Sevensguard is now ruled over by the Firehands anyway, but that... Yeah, that's strange. So he knows it's a bastard anyway, but he's making him a Redguard, even though he knows he's not a Redguard. Really weird. The regency of Queen Lyanna of Andalia has ended. A daughter was born to Queen Lyanna, the Kinslayer and High King Ambrose of Andalia, named Shirira, and she was born, stillborn. Oh, she had the attractive trait as well. God, Lyanna has had such bad luck. Let's name after a random ancestor, Freya. Yeah, we've had a Freya Sevenstar. It was a long and hard night, and in the end, it seems for nothing. Little Shira never lived. Words failed me. Lyanna gets the depressed trait. And the Hornwood has now fallen. I just wanted to let that happen before we end this episode to see what the war score will now be at in this war. 20% in favour of Lord Moribald the Fearless. Okay, so it's still raging on. Let's end this episode here then and see what will happen in the next one. Don't forget to stick around for the end POV as well, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, I really hope that you've enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and comment down below, and hopefully I'll see you all very soon for the next episode of the Knights of Andalia. Benfrey had underestimated the cold that night. He found himself once again perched by the hearth, his mind plagued with thoughts of his sister and queen. As a once beautiful, vibrant flower, Queen Lyanna was the envy of many. She could command the attention of an entire room with her presence alone. People respected her authority, and she remained unchallenged. However, with time came change, and the years had been all but kind to the once delightful queen. Time had slowly leached away at her. She was now just a fragment of who she once was, a sad, wilting rose. The loss of so many closest to her had slowly chipped away at her. All that remained now was a shell of loneliness, disappointment, and depression. Lyanna had endured the wrath of the stranger more than any woman ever should, and had witnessed very little of the mother's mercy. She had experienced loss to the highest degree. The latest, her stillborn daughter Freya. Why did the gods punish her so? This was her 5th child now claimed by the stranger. This saddened Benfrey deeply, for no mother should ever outlive their child. Benfrey knew only too well what it was like to lose a child with the loss of his firstborn son. Her depressive state only grew as her world around her began to crumble. Whispers filled the halls that the Queen now spent her nights alone in her chambers after growing estranged from her lord husband. Benfrey himself could see that the spark between them had long relinquished. They were now rarely seen in one another's company. Lyanna was delicate, fragile. Through her mental struggles and emotional turmoils, the Queen had begun losing her grip on the kingdom and her vassals. This worried Benfrey deeply. Her subdued state hadn't gone unnoticed. A flock of vultures had now begun to circle the Queen, slowly beginning to close in on her, the worst being Dany's Corbury. Dany's influence had tainted all manners of the small council. He was cunning, smart, and ruthlessly ambitious. His roots had firmly embedded themselves deep within their circle. Benfrey, however, was not fooled. He could see past his courtesies and his flattery towards both Queen and council. Dany's had built quite the facade, a facade that now had its hand gripped tightly around the realm's jugular. The Queen had been infatuated with Dany's and all his wit and charm for most of her life. Benfrey knew that Dany's would eventually become a big problem. Being appointed the most powerful position in Andalia was both difficult and stressful. As chief advisor to Queen Lyanna, Benfrey had all manner of responsibilities. As Hand and Regent, it was high time to reassert House Sevenstar's authority and control over the kingdom, starting with the disobedience of the Racks and Firehands in their petty war, then, most importantly, the undoing of the most dangerous man in Andalia.